Hello, welcome once again to Shareability Uganda. Thank you for watching our videos. Thank you for supporting Shareability in all the various ways. Those in our WhatsApp groups, thank you. Thank you for sharing useful material. My name is Kaziva Pius, and we shall be looking at growing crops in our self-study lesson today, P for Science. Without wasting a lot of time, let us start. In this topic today, we shall have a lot of subtopics that we shall be covering. First, we shall be looking at a nursery bed. What is a nursery bed? Its importance. A nursery bed is a small portion of land prepared for raising seedlings before transplanting them. Well, crops first planted in a nursery bed may include vegetables such as cabbages, onions, tomatoes, eggplants, and others. These are crops that are basically grown and can be raised well in a nursery bed. What is transplanting? Have you ever heard of transplanting? Transplanting is the process of moving a fully germinated seedling or mature plant and replanting it in a permanent location for the purpose of growing. Assuming you have planted your crops in a small nursery bed, then you want to move them to the permanent garden where they will be growing until you harvest fruits from them. That the process of removing them from the nursery bed to the garden is what we call transplanting. Then advantages of a nursery bed. A nursery bed provides favorable growth conditions like germination as well as growth. Better care of young plants, as it is easy to look after a nursery bed in a small portion. Against pests and weeds, it is very easy to look after your plants in a small portion. They are easily monitored than when on a large piece of land. Crop grown by nursery raising is quite early and fetch higher price in the market, so economically more profitable. Like tomato growers earn a lot of money after using nursery beds because it is economical and therefore in the long run it is profitable. There is saving of land and labor as main fields will be occupied by crops after 1 month. Assuming you make a nursery bed, in the process as the nursery bed is growing, the other land can be used for growing other crops. Then after a period of, let's say, 1 month, when the nursery bed is matured, you can harvest from the garden and then transplant our crops from the nursery bed to the main garden. More time is available for the preparation of mainland for the preparation of main field because nursery is grown separately. Since the nursery bed is separately organized on a different piece of land, this other piece of land, the main garden, can be prepared without disorganizing the nursery bed, which reduces inconveniences. As vegetable seeds are very expensive, particularly hybrids, so we can economize the seed by sowing them in a nursery bed. We all know these days that seeds have been improved, like hybrids. Hybrids are improved seeds. They are improved seeds and therefore they are expensive. So we cannot waste them by planting them, just throwing them in the main garden. We need to first put them in a nursery bed, they germinate, and then we transfer them to the main garden after they have germinated well. Disadvantages of a nursery bed. However good the nursery bed is, it also has disadvantages. It can be expensive to look after because it consumes time. It needs regular monitoring. Transportation costs. After our seeds have germinated in a nursery bed, it requires us to transport them to the main garden. This process of transporting them requires costs which are which may be expensive to the farmer or to the person transporting them. Damages. While transporting our seedlings from the nursery bed to the main garden, sometimes if you're not careful, you can lose the roots, they can grow and the leaves break off these young branches. They are very fragile, so we get damages and these crops in the may not grow well. The growth of seedlings is usually slow. In a nursery bed, since we have limited these plants to a specific area, their growth is usually slow. Well, that is it for the disadvantages of a nursery bed. Now we have another term called hardening off. Hardening off. What is hardening off? Plants raised indoors, mainly in greenhouses, need to be acclimatized to cooler temperatures. What does it mean? It means that these plants require someone to put them outside to get used to the climatic conditions, the outside climatic conditions. Therefore, plants raised indoors or in greenhouses need to be acclimatized to cooler temperatures, lower humidity, and increased air movement for about 2 to 3 weeks before they are planted outdoors. This toughening up is called hardening off. Let us move to another subtopic, which is caring for crops. Caring for crops simply refers to the necessary methods to look after the crops, and they may include weeding, soil cultivation, irrigation, mowing, insect pest and disease control, removal of standing water, and pruning. We shall look at a few, and we shall begin with pruning. Pruning is the practice of selectively removing specific parts of a tree or a shrub, such as buds, branches, or roots. Like you may find a tree or our crop has a lot of branches, it is all covered in branches. So we can selectively remove part of these branches to give it more space for aeration and sunlight saturation. Some tools used for pruning may include a panga, a knife, a saw, and others. Advantages of pruning. Pruning includes fruit production since air saturates well throughout the crop. Health and easy plant growth since all the parts of the plant get sunlight and aeration, the plant grow well and it looks healthy. Pruning creates a habitat for wildlife. Since our crop, like a tree, has been pruned, it has a lot of space. Sorry. Wildlife such as birds can come and occupy these branches that are left. Now we may have some advantages of pruning. Pruning can in the other ways it can be a habitat for wildlife, but instead it can also lead to loss of habitat because you can cut a branch which may be previously occupied by our wildlife habitat like birds, so it will lead to loss of this habitat. Pruning also supports soil erosion, in which way? When a tree has been when some branches of a tree have been cut off, the soil under this tree will be exposed to sunlight, therefore leading to soil erosion. Caring for crops, another subtopic, we have weeding. What is a weed? A weed is a plant considered undesirable in a particular situation, growing where it is not unwanted. Weeding therefore is the act of removing wild plants or unwanted plants from a place where they are not wanted. Examples of weeds may include blackjack, star grass, couch grass. Among very many, these are some of the examples that I managed to raise for you. So you can do more research and look for some more examples of weeds. Importance of weeding. Weeding enables steady plant growth. Since the plants will not be competing for sunlight and air with the weeds, the plants will grow very well. It helps to ease the process of harvesting. When we are harvesting, during the harvesting season, if our garden has been weeded very well and we don't have a lot of grass, the harvesting process will be quick and smooth. Dangers of weeding. Weeding, like we said, may cause soil erosion since the surface of the soil is exposed to sunlight. Caring of crops. We have manure. Manure, let us define manure. Manure is the decomposed form of dead plants and animals, which is applied to the soil to increase its production. Manure increases nutrients in the soil, therefore higher production or higher yields of crops. Watering. Watering simply refers to pour water on plants or the soil that they are growing in, which leads to improved soil moisture. Let us look at another subtopic, which is thinning. Thinning is a term used in agriculture science to mean the removal of some plants or parts of plants to make room for the growth of others. For example, you may during planting, you may put four seeds of maize in the soil, but after growing, these crops may be crowded, so you may need to remove others so as to give room for others to grow. You may remove like two and remain with two. So this process of removing other crops and leaving others to grow well is what we call thinning. Advantages of thinning include thinning ensures growing plants have adequate space. It ensures plants have proper air circulation. Since they are free, they are not crowded. Thinning also helps ensure healthy plants. Since air circulation is okay and they get enough sunlight, these plants may grow healthy. Plants that are properly thinned will get adequate water. There is like during watering. Since these plants are few, they get an adequate water. Mulching. Mulching is also another term used in agriculture, or it is a process practiced in agriculture. It is simply applying a layer of material to the surface of the soil, putting a layer of let's say dead plants on the surface of the soil to improve its moisture. Examples of mulches may include wood chips, grass, and leaves, amongst others. Advantages of mulching. Mulching reduces sun heat damage. It covers the soil, therefore there is no direct sunlight onto the soil. It suppresses weed growth. Mulching suppresses weed growth in a way that since the soil is covered, there is no way weed can grow. Therefore, it is another way of preventing weed from growing in our garden. Disadvantages of mulching. Because mulch blocks sunlight, it prevents some seeds from germinating. Since one of the necessary conditions for germination to take place is sunlight. When seeds that we have planted are not receiving sunlight due to mulch, they may not germinate. Therefore, mulch prevents seeds from germinating. Mulch can attract termites and bugs. Some material used for covering the soil in the process of mulching, such as dry leaves, may attract insects such as termites, which may eat up our crops. And lastly, let us look at a term called plant training. Plant training is controlling the direction and shape and size of plants. Like in the picture below, you can see a polythene bag being tied onto a tomato plant so that it grows straight, to prevent it from bending so that it gives better yields. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for supporting Shareability Uganda. And if this is your first time, please consider subscribing to our channel so that you may be notified when a new video is posted. If you enjoyed this video or if you got something from, please like the video. May God bless you.